all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Right, all 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 right. All right, all right, it's day two of the Apex Able, because you know that we have this as staple. Okay? Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations, okay? I'm related to everybody, I've decided, because everybody needs a metaphysical uncle in the astral world to help and guide them towards their greatest path working, their greatest ascension. We are all here to be enlightened, my friends, okay? That is our main purpose here on the planet. And if we are engaging in a relationship with somebody else, a tantric relationship, as we lock eyes with our partner and we merge in that heroes, gamos, God and goddess together, we get reminded that we are both one, connecting us to source. Well, that's the type of relationships that I like to create, at least. So I look for that. That is my qualification. You know, that is my understanding of the world. Now, we have a concept in Primal Sutra. We believe that there is this life force energy, right? This life force energy that protects us. And it can be manifested in all through different religions, all through different cultures, different ways, okay? Different paradigms, different philosophies coming together, okay? From the Greeks and Plato to, Mesmer. I think Mesmer is a great example because he talked about this kind of animal magnetism. Okay, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's basically a combination of fire, air, and spirit internally. Some people might even connect it to the Kundalini, okay, the life force energy that we all have. Some people call it prana, other people call it Odic energy from Odin, other people call it orgone from Wilhelm Reich. There's a lot of ways in which this manifests, even towards the Vril Society, and if you guys are familiar with that as well. By the way, this video might get taken down, so download it, okay, record it on your phones, whatever, because, I'm going to be exposing some stuff, okay? And I think this is what we've got to understand to not only protect ourselves as shamans and healers, but also keep that upward spiral momentum moving, okay? So this is a war of negativity versus positivity, but we've got to remain centered and understand when we're delving into the celebration of death rather than the celebration of life, okay? So let me share my screen, okay? Let me share my screen. And, hmm. Where did it go? Actually, I'm gonna have to open Telegram to pull this up. Give me a second, guys. All that, what's that good for? Okay. Let's see here. So we're talking about the map, the life force map, the map of our life force. This is protective because to understand Lush and so forth, okay? Okay. Let's see. Boom. Okay. Here we are. Okay. So, guys, let's zoom into this, okay? So, life force map. Okay, I found this on somewhere, Reddit, Pinterest. Okay. For whoever created this, please make yourself known so I can give you credit. Okay, this is pretty deep. So let's go through this, guys. Okay. So your life force energy is the essence of who you are. It is your life energy. It is part of your eternal and undying. It is your soul, your spirit, your connection to source, and thus your connection to all that is. As a sovereign being, this life force is yours to give, and if you choose. Although it cannot be truly taken, you can be tricked into giving it away. Really important here. Okay? Though your life force can never be taken, it can be tricked. You can be duped into having someone siphon or steal it from you. Okay. When you choose to acknowledge your divinity, express your life force as co-creator with source, it is reflected back to you as love and oneness, a celebration of unity. However, When you allow it to be siphoned away and used to energize and empower the dark side of the equation, it is lost and left with nothing. The dark cannot create and can only destroy. Rather than being a creative collaborator, the dark manipulates you to become their energy source to compensate for the living energy that they cannot access. So, when we think of the past, we get very depressed, right? Or we think of the world of the dead, right? And it's like death versus life has this balance or this equilibrium that it's trying to create through the human, okay? Because each day we're dying, right? But we're also living. So let's go back to them. You are nothing but a disposable battery to be used up and discarded. Is neither good nor bad. This is great for the question about Lush. By the way, Sarah, I channeled Master Shambu last night and I asked your particular question, the one you emailed me. So I will send you that recording for free. And yeah, we'll take it from there. Okay. So while this is choice by use neither good nor bad, it's a preference that you have profound consequences. The darker path trades short-term pleasure and perceived advantages for the lasting satisfaction and the enrichment of the lighted path. The dark path is the dead end road in every sense of the word, okay? So this is a glossary of terms. Ascension is the path of spiritual growth for the third density. It can be black nobility is the human and non-human leadership of the most ancient families by sworn allegiance to the dark. The Cabal or the architects of the New World Order, sometimes called power elites or dark ones. Dark arts is spiritual tech based on the celebration of death rather than life, which is ritual black magic. Gray is an entity whose morphology resembles beings from Zeta Reticuli, not always extraterrestrial. Robotoids are artificial humans or biorobots engineered for short-term use and must be programmed and controlled. Is that the same as the plant that we keep saying, that we keep seeing in society? Well, could be, okay. Secret society is a smaller, medium-sized specialized group, typically based on esoteric or occult teachings. We have something like that. It's called the Primal Sutra Mystery School. Okay, check it out. Social engineering, a method for shaping the mind and behavior of society through complex social systems. Synchronicity, an observable repeating pattern or coincidence that appears to have an effect without cause. Terraforming is the process of modifying an entire planet into a factory for the extraction of resources, okay? So let's go into this. This explains what a density is. We don't really have to get into this, but basically the third density is the physical reality. The fifth density is the plane of light and unity. The fourth is the astral plane or individual will or life spirit and mutability of form. And the sixth is the realm of creatio and geometry, okay, the language of life and light from which all things manifest. So this is what creates morphogenetic fields and so forth, okay? So let's look at this, okay? It's taking versus giving. Service to others, positively polarized. Service to self, negatively polarized. Have you ever felt this? Narcissists can drain you. Have you ever felt that? That's because they're primarily entirely service to self. Okay. And notice the iron core is Armageddon and the diamond core is paradise. We talk about the diamond path, right? The Vajra path is paradise. However, think about this. This is talking about Archons, the Chimera, the Dracos, the Dark Lords, the Dark Sorcerers. And then here on this side, they have like the Cabal operatives, clones and robotoids, Matrix Hive, gang stalkers, Greys and reptilians. This is an overgeneralization, okay? Yes, they are in the third density, these beings. That is very true. And but we have to be careful about this. This is some reptilians and greys are kind ones, just like humans are. So this is like kind of saying that, all Muslim people are terrorists or something like that. It's a very broad generalization. Okay, it's not going to solve our issue by doing this. Okay, but let's think about this, right? The dark asleep, okay, celebration of death, a low frequency, whereas we have a celebration of life, a higher frequency. So this is where all the starseeds, light workers, truthers, grid keepers, healers, and shamans belong in this third density. So this is the upward spiral gang, right? And we're slowly going into the Christos avatar, but also the light leaders, light guides, light commanders, and the ascended masters and angels over here. So we as Primal Sutra, we actually remain right here. Okay. We remain right here, and I'll tell you why. What if we created a Draco Christos hybrid? Okay. Now, hear me out here. Some people, this will completely go over their heads, this video. But for the Apex April adepts in Primal Sutra, we understand something very different. We're playing this game by our own human designs, okay? So we've got to really look at this as this upward spiral frequency that's happening, right? This is what's taking us there, is to remain where we pause the video game at the emptiness, the center point, okay, right here. Now, this is saying it's a version from 2020, okay? So this map, I think, can be amplified or changed in some way. Irregardless, I think it's very, very powerful if we think of, is it a versus of light and dark? Because that's what every movie tries to convince us, right? Every single movie that we've watched is like paradise consciousness versus Armageddon consciousness, dark versus light, good versus bad, right? What about with? Why are we fearing the dark so much and death so much? Okay. Is it because they can trick us? Okay. And siphon our energy? I think that's a weird dynamic to have with anybody. Okay. So this is my perspective as a shaman. But a hybrid that feeds, the positive wolf more to celebrate life more than death, but it's all one dance. You guys see what I'm saying here? Like if we completely cut away from fear, we're not going to be in survival mode anymore. You see what I'm saying? So these like weirdos, these people who want to create this breakaway society or whatever, they want to kind of go into a bunker away where they can do all their nasty shit, right? They want to separate from society, whereas these love and light workers, they want to unify and create a feeling of wholeness, oneness, growth, positivity, momentum. However, what if we could serve ourselves and be selfless at the same time? What if it was like two pillars helping our third pillar to move up? Okay. Now, I'm not saying become a Sith Lord tomorrow. I'm not saying delve into the darkness and become a Draco Overlord. Okay. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is there's two maps happening, right? One is spiraling down into the abyss endlessly. One is growing up and expanding eternally upwards, right? Going up into source or light and closer to the light. We are human beings on an earthly plane and experience. So we're going to be moved by both of these energies and frequencies, especially even within us. A lot of these practices, especially like mesmerism or qigong or, Chinese meridian practices and acupressure and so forth, they all use qi or ki or prana. Okay. So in mesmerism, they have this move. Let me just show you guys here. So let me just close this map for a second. I think you guys get this map, but I'm going to be breaking it down further, but I think you guys get it. So it's positively polarized service to self, paradise consciousness versus celebration of death, low frequency service to self, negatively polarized consciousness, okay? Or Armageddon consciousness. So we create this based on how we think, right? If we think the world's going to end, the world's going to end. It's the apocalypse. You're going slowly down into the abyss, my friends. What if you could create a paradise here on Earth? What if you could delve into the other side, the upward spiral? Okay. And this is what I teach as a positive psychologist too, is like you have to make a choice. You are the choice point, right? You are here for a particular reason. Maybe you are a light worker, shaman, ascended master, and you're here to remember that okay? These dark forces, these operatives, these agent Smiths in the Matrix are trying to like keep you down, right? Keep you stuck, keep you in the programmed reality, and keep you in control so they can have the power all towards themselves, okay? Now, I don't want to create any animosity against this energy or these beings because I understand the middle path to be very, very powerful, where I become the observer, where I become this understanding that, I have my Kundalini fire within me, and I know how to allow it to move through this waking reality, and it's been helping me throughout my life. Kundalini is the opposite of death, if you think about it. Okay. You have a physical body, a mental body, and an energetic body, right? And we also have a spiritual body. There's many other causal other bodies, right, that you can bring into this equation, but let's look at these three. Okay. All of these are actually physical, but there's a third energetic body that's more and more and more subtle. Like it gets more subtle, right? So it's physical, then it's mental body, more subtle, and then it's energetic body, way, way, way more subtle. Okay, to sense. So when you build up your intuition, when you can actually use, let's say in mesmerism, right? If you go like this, like a kind of like a zombie, right? This is how they induct you with mesmerism. You do this a while until your hands feel like dropping. Okay, this is like some kind of next level hypnotic chaos magic type shit that I'm sharing with you guys, right? So they do this, right? Until they feel like completely dropping their hands. So that's where they inhale and bring the hands down. And then what they notice is like if someone is moving their hands like this way, right? Let's say the mesmer practitioner or mesmer himself is going like this with his hand, your hand will move up automatically. It's like then he would tell him like just move naturally how you would want to move, and then he would just go like this. But he would be moving his hand on the other side. So it made him into like a puppet almost in a sense. Um, but understand that this is actually a technique that we can use with ourselves, right? So we can use this mesmerism with ourselves so we can get ourselves into this altered state to feel into our actual animal magnetism by doing this exercise and then being able to utilize it for something. Okay. Um, so 1 second, guys. Let me just check that this is being heard. Okay, it's being heard. So so let's get right into this, okay? So how do we create a life force map for ourselves, okay? We've got to understand something very clear. We got to understand our purpose of life is to enlighten, is to merge with source, okay? That is our true calling. That is our service to the plant, the service to the planet, right? Which is serving others, which is paradise consciousness. You got to understand you came here to help and unite with others, not create more animosity, separate from them, go into your villain arc mode and stay in a cave. Okay. You weren't there to actually do that. You might be like, F you and use spite. But again, you can use spite and help you rise in this journey, but you can also be manipulated by spite that you're consuming on social media and you're craving revenge porn and you're like, you're in that negative state, right? And so that negative power is going to have a grasp or a clasp on you, okay? One way is to protect your energy field and protect your energy body, your Merkaba, which is around you. It is basically tetrahedral. It is kind of like a structure around you, okay? It is one of like a dodecahedron, but imagine I almost see it more like a honeycomb type of thing, where there's lots of portals that you can open and chambers that you can access. Right? It's almost like you're in this spaceship, this crystalline light body spaceship. Okay, so that's how you can travel through the astral and stay protected and so forth. This technology again is very, very esoteric. It's very, very occult. So use it at your own, uh, you know, warning. Okay, use it constructively and proactively. Okay, don't get caught up in the nonsense that gets created with this. Okay, so first and foremost, we got to understand how do we remain in a paradise state of mind. You talk about that idea of feeding two wolves, right? The one that grows is the one you feed. Well, do you really want to starve that negative wolf in a sense? Isn't that what shadow work is? Right? It's just that you can't have the shadow consume the light. Okay, you can't have the shadow be so powerful that it starts consuming your light. You need the light to overpower the shadow. Okay? Because you are that pure light. You are that Christos avatar. You are that understanding of, you do have that divine spark, okay, that vital spark within you. And So that divine gnosis, that Sophia, right? That connection. When we understood something very powerfully yesterday, guys, okay, and I want to share it with all of you. I know this is kind of very secretive information and it's for adepts only, but for the very minimal, maybe 1% of people are going to watch this live stream and get this download right now. But people's vocals can get you to access a certain frequency or bandwidth, okay? Now, I don't know much about the music industry and its inner workings, but I know there's something very sketchy going on, okay, behind the scenes. And to the deities that I work with, they're saying that it's like an onion with so many layers that if I try to unpack this, I'm going to get wrapped up in it. So I might as well look at it from a distance and try to understand it better, right? So we don't make those mistakes. We understand that right now what's happening on the planet, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the Saturn energy and that energy of Shani, of just like revealing the truth, right? The light is the truth, as Cat Williams said in that interview, and it's so like that energy is what is going to come up right now, is all the shadows are coming up from society, from these murky celebrities, right, who are doing sketchy things behind the scenes, and it's all coming out into the light so they can face the consequences, face the justice, and find their spark of divinity again. They find their connection to source again. Because, hey man, the devil has many faces. You know what I mean? The darkness has many, many different faces, and it can deceive you in so many different ways, right? They saying sign a contract will give you everything that you want, but they can easily pull that, magic carpet away from you. As easily. And that's what we're seeing with certain humiliation rituals and things like that happening in media. Why are these celebrities randomly getting their places raided and so forth, right? By Homeland Security. It is that understanding, okay? There is something very deep of the same people that can put you in power can take it away from you, okay? So this is a very, very powerful understanding, or this dynamic, okay? And I want you to get this. Listening to someone's voice, specifically Michael Jackson, who was associated with this industry in some way. I think he was trying to expose the truth, but you can hear in his voice that he has the blend of masculine and feminine in his vocals. Does anybody else sense this? I understood this from AZD a very long time ago as well, where he brought it up in a specific class. I don't know if you guys were listening to that class, so I'm going to bring it up again, okay? Michael Jackson's voice has an energy of like a light as a feather that cuts like a sword. Okay, so it's that masculine and feminine balance in that voice. And we listened to, I believe, a song called something Butterfly by Michael Jackson yesterday, but it was an a cappella version that Ryan G played. And it was really, really powerful because we came to this understanding or this conclusion that this voice was perfect for manifestation. Because it has this blend of masculine and feminine, it cuts as well as it smoothens, right? It's like a butter knife. It's like you're using it smooth, but it can also cut like this, right? So the sharpness with the playfulness allows for the masculine and feminine to create this harmonic yin yang quality, right? Where if you listen to that kind of music, what it does to you is it opens up your mind for hemisphere synchronization. Okay, and that's what the butterfly represents as well, the two butterflies' wings. This is going very deep, man. I'm gonna put a pause on this, okay, because I don't want to reveal too much on YouTube. Okay, if you want to know more about this, join our pathworking, join the mystery school, okay, Primal Sutra mysteryschool.com. Okay, go and this stuff is too juicy for YouTube, unfortunately, okay? But some of you guys will get this. Others not so much, but that's okay. Okay, work with it. Work with whatever downloads you're getting right now and just move forward with it, okay? It's going to change the way that you perceive this thing. So let me see, are there any comments from people in the live chat? Let me just reload this. Let's see, let's see. No, okay. So the life force map that we saw, okay, how do we utilize this? I want you to understand, notice when you're becoming so ambitious that you're being selfish and going into your me, into your own world of independence. And notice when you're going into the empathic, like, love and light, just like blending with everything, energy of codependence. Okay. Notice those two poles, the celebration of life and the celebration of death, and just remain in celebration. That's all I'm saying. Okay. You don't need to pick sides. You need to be the crow on the top of the mountain. Okay. On top of the tree, like I said in my earlier live yesterday. Okay. So that's how you're going to gain your power back in this thing is, of course, more celebration of life rather than death, but you face the darkness, you face your fears in order to remain whole and have more of a jump in a sense. Okay. So imagine you're going down like this, like a bungee cord, you're going bop before you can get sucked into the abyss. Okay. So the abyss is going right. You go like this, right? You use the energy of the momentum of the darkness itself, and then you rise. You're a riser. Okay. You seen that guy? What's up, risers? We're locked in today. Okay, that guy who says locked in. In IMC Nation, we used to say tapped in. I think I'm gonna bring back tapped in. Actually, I might make it a meme or a thing I say on social media or something. Uh, yeah, and again, it's like you want your ambition as well as your service to be best friends. And this is how you're going to win at the game of life. Okay. This is how you're going to break out of this cycle of life and death. Because that basically, that map that you saw is samsara. Okay. It's the cycle of life and death, and you're in the middle. How are you going to break out of samsara? You enlighten not only yourself, you become a Buddha, not only for yourself, but for the benefit of all, right? And so I can't distance myself from the dark. I have to take those reptilian Draco overlords and enlighten them as well. Do you guys get that? I have to look at the darkness and at these dark forces and be like, I'm going to help you enlighten too. I know this is what you really want. You want to be free. You want to be liberated. But you keep using these sketchy mechanisms and trying to be your own, power source, right? Instead of what? Understanding that you are a God on internship here. You're in training. You're a student of life. God is teaching you. You are not a God. Okay? But you have the potential to be. Okay? In your next life, you might become a demigod. Again, you know what the demigods struggle with? The demigods still struggle with anger and with jealousy. They're still having wars up in, heavens. They're still having wars up in paradise, okay? Have we left our war consciousness just because we go up into, Mount Olympus and so forth? No, or the, the Mahabharata, if you look at, that energy, no, the gods still have this anger and this jealousy alive within them. Okay? But the Buddhas don't. Okay? The awakened ones, the ascended masters, they don't need that. They know the anger is a delusion. They know that jealousy is just a hoax. Okay? They know that relationships don't have to be so personal, that we take them so personally, right? I am that I am, but then someone else says, but are you really that? Right? And that's where the problems start to happen. You guys get that? You say, I am that I am, right? I am here. I am here now, right? Which is pure loving awareness and consciousness. But then someone else comes along and is like, are you really here now, though? Maybe you're not here now. Maybe you're somewhere else. Or did you ever try out this diet or this recommendation on this app? Did you ever try this one? It's going to change your life, right? And you have these grifters coming out of the blue, and you're like, but I know my path. I know my spiritual path. I know what I'm supposed to do. Well, it's like, but then there's this doubt that creeps in, right? That's the voice of the darkness. That's the voice of negativity. You know that voice. You'll never be good enough. You're not worthy. What's the point anyway? You know that dark voice, right? But what if you said to that dark voice, listen, dark voice, you don't intimidate me. You speak back to it, you give it a taste of its medicine. You don't intimidate me. You know what? I'm going to help you enlighten with me. Let's go, Apex. This is the Apex energy, right? I'm going to be the one that rises up to my peak. But guess what? The energy or the momentum or the animal magnetism of that peak is going to let everybody move up with that Vajra energy of the dragon of truth that just keeps cutting through every single illusion, because all that remains is the diamond. All that remains is that pureness, that wholeness, that unity, that truth, that foundation with which keeps moving and keeps creating in this life. Life is creation, okay? And as we understood from that map, okay, let me just go back to it very briefly just for myself. Let me just read out the densities now, okay? The third density is the physical reality of the conscious being comprised of both rational and intuitive thought, okay? Energy becomes matter while the illusion of separation allows free will to create learning experiences through self-awareness and self-consciousness. This is a school, I keep telling you guys, okay? The physical senses cannot detect spirit, which is beyond form, and beings here must rely on intuition, okay? You are in the third density. You got to rely on your intuition, my friends. Okay? Don't just go with the intellect and the logic. Okay? I went into that world. I went to the world of academics, right? And I understood it. Okay? Any kind of spiritual comment I made, where's your peer-reviewed journal? Okay? Where's your annotation underneath this particular context? Okay? Dude, it's a knowingness. Right? Are you really going to have me circumnavigate and like compartmentalize my belief systems and my spiritual inclinations and that pure divine relationship that I have with Source? It's indescribable. You can't put it into a lab report somewhere. You get what I mean? It can't be a statistic. I mean, it can, and we've been trying to, right? Remember the frequency, like that could cut through stone, and that's how they could like make the pyramids and so forth, right? From a vibration, bands of different frequencies that we can tap into, right? That can help us access different technologies, different dimensions, different tech. Okay, that's how it is. So the fourth density is the astral plane or individual will of life, spirit, and mutability of form. This dimension is collective unconsciousness. Okay, have you ever been, so maybe we're rising into 4D and we're just seeing all the shadows of the collective unconscious. Ta-da! See, we're figuring things out in April. You see? And it's possible to leave the physical body to go on a dimensional journey called astral travel. So when you are astral traveling, you're in the 4D. Okay? Beings who move through this density are non-physical on the spiritual path of light. This is a transitional region. Now we have 5D. Okay, the fifth density is the plane of light or dimension of unity. There's still a sense of individuality, yet there is a much greater awareness of group identity on the conscious level. So this is collective consciousness, not collective unconsciousness. Is this making sense, guys? Okay, thumbs up. All paradoxes are resolved at this level. All dualities are understood at this level on 5D, right? So you cannot understand 3D with a 3D paradigm. You've got to understand 3D from a 5D paradigm. That's when we become the walking paradoxes. That's how we, yesterday we were talking about Heyoka energy, purely paradoxical. That's what they're teaching us, perhaps, is to get into 5D. So we become conscious of ourselves in all times and all places, okay? And then finally, we have the sixth density. I'm just reading from the screen. The sixth density is the realm of creatio and creatio, right? I think they meant creation, but creatio sounds lit. And geometry, the language of light and life, from which all things manifest, all form precipitates down from here, and is the region of the morphogenetic fields. This is the substrate, it feels like. The geometric structures of energy. The sixth density is primarily mental in nature. This is the mental plane, okay? And based on the ideas of information that form our third and fourth density energy templates. So our mind is creating the circumstance that we're all in. Okay? We keep talking about these celebrities and how that's what's gonna manifest. So this is how our words are so powerful too. We've got to be really understanding towards ourselves, right? Because if you're using words like, we say it all the time, sick or wicked, we use these words to, as slang to describe and just go with the woke culture or whatever, the mainstream media or whatever the Gen Z is saying or whatever, right? Yeah, that is dead ass mid, It's like soon enough, all the slangs are going to merge into just, noises and sounds and grunts. It's like, what's going on? It's like, are we really losing our language with all these emojis and patterns and more complications with communication? Okay. I just want to be able to speak my mind to somebody and not have them misunderstand me or confuse it with something else or, distrust it as a projection. I just want to have a conversation, right? And that's the thing. You can't have that conversation if one, you are celebrating death, or the other, you're only celebrating life. And I believe in the celebration of life. I always have, right? I'm a proponent of the light side. But doing my own research and delving into the dark, I understand how people have skewed and distorted these ancient teachings for their own benefit. And that's where it starts to become corrupt. When people are like, it's all about me, I can do it all myself, okay? You think you can do it all yourself. I used to be in that mentality that I'm a lone wolf and I need to separate away from society. I need to meditate and go into a cave, okay? But a real Buddha knows that they're there to enlighten everybody with them, okay? So being a part of a Sangha is actually essential. There's three jewels, right? There's the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The Sangha is the community. The Dharma is like the word or the, again, it's the path, but the path meaning mind. The Dharmakaya is Buddha's mind, right? But it's where, but you have it, you have that Buddha nature. It's what Drupa Kinley said, you are the Buddha, and we've had Buddha nature. Before I was born, I was also in that Buddha nature, but you learned a process of how to get there, and I have it, So this is a very, very powerful understanding, guys. If we're able to use this life force map, we've got to understand our celebration of life has got to override our celebration of death. And at the same time, you celebrate what's going on in front. You celebrate the present moment. See? You allow the present moment to teach you, to guide you. It's not there to scare you and, make you stay the same. The ego doesn't actually want you to feel bad. It doesn't. It's just the energy with which you've been using it, and you think that others are taking this energy from you. Nobody can take your life force energy from you. This model proved it to you. Okay? But you are giving somebody permission into your head to get into your head. You are cracking open your armor. Okay? You're letting the darkness shine through the light of armor. Okay? The shield is broken. So how do you fix it? You stop being a coward. You stop fearing that. You know that they're an energy just like you are. And because they're the outsider, they're not understood. We shame them, we push them away further, and we have this weird, like, these are the toxic positive people, right? I just want to get away from all these low vibration individuals. Not even understanding that these low vibrational individuals are the ones that need your healing the most, or ones that need enlightenment the most. Okay? And again, it's not your job to impose your free will on them in order to heal. I don't think that's a good example. You are creating space for them to reach that conclusion themselves. That's a great way shower. Okay? So anyway, guys, I hope this video gave you some insights, some downloads, okay? Master Makara out, okay? Let's get it today. You already know what it is. Upward Spiral Gang. May we never be the same again. Stay positive. Stay uplifted. You already got this, man. Okay? Use this life force energy for your own benefit. Understand how you can use your chi, okay? And soon enough, maybe you'll be one of those Zen masters that just take like a piece of paper and then through their chi they can, light it on fire. Have you guys seen that video? Okay. Um but again, start to understand the animal magnetism within you. There is this invisible life force energy. You got to preserve it. You got to take care of it. Okay. My advice to you is consistent meditation. Okay. Consistent meditation practices where you can allow space to come through, to silence the inner mind so that the downloads can come through and your intuition is that much more readily available in the 3D, the third density, and then you can use it to astral travel in the fourth, and then create a system for yourself to fully thrive in your waking life as well.